Hello everyone and welcome back. This is going to be part 6 of my CD collection. In the last video we left off with the Monkees, so today we will continue with, here we have Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys. This is the definitive collection. You can see the track listing there. Some early classic country and bluegrass music. And next we have the best of the Moody Blues. And here we have Motley Crue's Greatest Hits. Right off the bat with these first 3 CDs, you can see I'm kind of all over the board in my musical tastes. And next we have Willie Nelson Songs. This is again another kind of a greatest hits collection. And this next one is by the band The New Number 2, and if any of you are familiar with them, it features George Harrison's son Danny Harrison. This is just kind of a single or an EP. It's just got 4 songs on it. I don't own any of their other albums, but I do have this one. And here we have the best of Stevie Nicks, Crystal Visions. Now this is the first CD I ever got by Nilsson, Harry Nilsson that is. This is a greatest hits collection. I didn't really know too much about him at the time. I picked this up and I really enjoyed basically every song on here. So from here, this is an example of getting a greatest hits collection and making you want to explore the artist's catalog a little farther. So from there I went and I got the highly popular Nilsson Schmilsson album from I think it was 1971. And again, this is a really great album. I really enjoy this one. And I decided to, after that I got the follow-up to that one. It's Son of Schmilsson. And then I found this collection here. It's got his first 3 albums on it. I think the first one was maybe from 1967, if I remember correctly. So I decided to check that out, and then I think right around this time is when I got the RCA albums collection. It's the big box set. It's got all his RCA albums in it, so I do have all those albums. And if you want to see what's in that, you can check out, it's one of my earliest videos. I did a video on that box set. Next up we have Nirvana, again another greatest hits collection here, which you definitely see a lot of in my CD collection here. Is a lot of greatest hits. Here we have one by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? This is a 30th anniversary edition. It's a 2 CD set. And then we have No Doubt, the singles. And the best of Ted Nugent, Great Gonzos. Good little collection of some of his greatest hits there. Now this next one, my dad used to drive semi over the road, and every once in a while he'd take me with him. And this is an album that he had on a cassette tape he'd listened to quite a bit, and that's what got me into the Oak Ridge Boys. This is their Greatest Hits Volume 2. We listened to this quite a lot. So I decided to pick that up on CD as I got older. And then I also got the definitive collection here. And then from there I found a gold collection. This is a 2 CD set, so it's got a lot of hits on this one. A lot of great stuff there if you're into this kind of country music. And then just last year they put out a new album here. It's called 17th Avenue Revival. And I do have a good majority of all their albums on vinyl, so definitely a band that I enjoy. Here we have all-time greatest hits of Roy Orbison. There's 20 greatest hits here. This is one of my earliest CDs that I ever owned. And here we have an Ozzy Osbourne greatest hits collection. The Ozman Cometh, it's called. And from Ozzy, we go to Buck Owens, the very best of Buck Owens. One of the early pioneers of classic country music. So this is volume 1, and then I also have volume 2 here as well. Next is a Carl Perkins CD I found at one point. It says it's on Prism Leisure Records. I'm sure this is some kind of bootleg or something. Nothing official. It's got quite a few good songs on it, so. And here we have Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' Greatest Hits. Another really good collection of songs. Again, if you want to check this one out in further detail, I have a special video on this one when it came out. This is a Tom Petty American Treasure. It's a 4 CD collection here. It's got the book, and the 4 CDs are in these sleeves here. So if you're interested in knowing more about this collection, you can check out that video. And then I also got the Wildflowers album, probably one of my favorite albums of theirs, or of his, because it's a solo album. And here we have the greatest hits so far by Pink. There's a CD that slides in here. Not a huge fan of that kind of packaging, but. And now we get into some Pink Floyd. Here we have The Dark Side of the Moon. Again, this is one of the first CDs I ever picked up. Had that one for a long time. And we have Wish You Were Here. It says this is an anniversary edition. Not exactly sure when this came out. 1997, I believe. The case is broken on this one, I know. Next up is Pink Floyd Animals. And Pink Floyd The Wall. Definitely remember listening to this a lot driving around in the car while I was in high school. And I have Pink Floyd's A Momentary Lapse of Reason. And The Division Bell. And then for Christmas one year, I got this as a gift. It's the best of Pink Floyd. It's called Echoes. Comes in this slipcase. I remember it came with a keychain too. It had the artwork on a keychain. I've long since lost that, but now with Pink Floyd's songs, it's kind of hard to create a greatest hits collection because most of the songs on their albums kind of just flow one into the other. So in this one, they kind of between a lot of the tracks, there's just kind of just kind of some sound effects and things that go between the songs to kind of segue from one to another. And let's see, what year did this one come out? 2014. We have, oh, I forgot what it's even called. The Endless River. I think I've only listened to this once, right when I got it. It kind of comes in this book form. It's got some pages here. I think there's maybe one song on here that has vocals. Otherwise, all the rest is instrumentals. I think they're leftover outtakes and things from the Division Bell sessions. And like I said, I've only listened to it once, and it was several years ago, so I don't remember too much about it. Here we have Robert Plant, The Principle of Moments. And we also have Robert Plant's Now and Zen. And then next up is the Complete $1 Million Quartet. We got Elvis, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash. They were all in the studio at the same time, and the tape recorder happened to be recording everything that they played there. If I remember right, the quality isn't the greatest on this recording, but it's still kind of a interesting document to have all four of those together on the same recording. It's really lucky that the tape recorders were going at that time. And here we have Elvis Presley at Sun. Some of his earliest recording. Oops, that was not in there properly. The legendary Sun logo on there. It's one of my favorite record labels is the Sun label. And here we have Elvis 1. It's the 30 #1 hits. And I believe this was the follow-up to that, the *1's album. It's just called 2, Second to None, I guess it's called. I suppose it's just a lot of extra hits that weren't necessarily #1 hits for him, collected together here. And then we have the Ultimate Gospel from Elvis. Here we have Prince album, 1999. And this one I got with a whole load of CDs that I got at one point, and I've never listened to it, so I don't even know what it is. Prince Lotus Flower, it's called. I think there's 3 CDs in here. And like I said, I have no idea anything about this one, so I can't really give you any information on that one. But then I do have the very best of Prince here. Next we get into Queen. The game, I first heard this, I got a free copy of this on vinyl at one point when I was younger. So I listened to this album quite a bit. It's probably, for that reason, it's probably one of my favorite Queen albums. Because I know all the songs on there really well. Yeah, but after picking that up, I did get Queen's Greatest Hits. And this case is broken too, but and then I remember this was kind of released at the same time. Classic Queen, it's called. Kind of a volume 2 to me, it seems like. And then later on, I got this collection. It's Greatest Hits 1, 2, and 3, the Platinum Collection. Now, as I was going through these CDs, those first two, I noticed that the one album has the song Stone Cold Crazy, which is probably one of my higher ranked Queen songs, but it's not on any of these CDs here, so that's kind of a disappointment. There's that one. And then we have Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. To me, this is a pretty underrated album. I really enjoy this one, but I don't hear too much about it. It's Jerry Rafferty, City to City. You're probably familiar with Baker Street and Right Down the Line, two of the kind of the hits from this album. Usually you can find this album in the dollar bin at the record stores, but I think every song on here is really good, so. And here we have the Essential Jerry Reed, just a really amazing country guitar player. He wrote the song Guitar Man and U.S. Mail. That's not on this one, but those are two songs that he wrote and that Elvis recorded. And Jerry Reed actually plays the guitar on Elvis's version of those songs. So. Next up is REO Speedwagon, The Hits. And when I was getting big into rockabilly music, I heard about these guys. The Reverend Horton Heat, Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em is the album. Kind of a newer, upgraded version of rockabilly music. I think they call it psychobilly, actually. More of a punk, rockabilly type music. And they also had a greatest hits collection here with 24 songs. And the hits just keep coming. We got Marty Robbins, A Lifetime of Song. A lot of really good Marty Robbins music here. Classic country again. And we'll just get through this next band and then we'll call it quits for this video, I think. The first one here I have is the Rolling Stones, Hot Rocks, 1964 to 1971. A good early greatest hits collection from the Rolling Stones. They've had a lot of greatest hits collections over the years, but this is probably one of my favorites. It's the 40 Licks. This is a 2 CD set here. And probably one of my favorite actual albums of the Rolling Stones is Sticky Fingers. And several years back, Target had an exclusive deal on this one where you get this 2 CD set. And when you purchase the 2 CD set, you actually were able to send in and get the vinyl version of the album for free. So there's that. And let's see here, the next one I have is Blue and Lonesome. This is a pretty recent album. let's see, what does it say there? 2016 this one came out. This is a really good album. I actually really like this one. Just some straight blues music. And we also have the Rolling Stones On Air. This is some live BBC recordings that they've did. 18 tracks there. And finally, for the Rolling Stones and for this video, I just picked up recently the remastered Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. You can see it's got that reflective foil cover on there. It's kind of cool. And so this one has some extra bonus tracks that weren't on the original. So that's gonna end this video, part 6. Stay tuned for part 7. I believe I got at least a couple more parts to this series to go yet, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you on the next video.